What's up, guys? You're here with KWI on the couch and a recent graduate, Brian Collins, who is one of our Triple Crown winners. First off, we'll get with Brian and his experience in the welding industry. So what made you want to become a welder and go to KWI?
It really all started when I was 12 or 13 working with my grandfather. He would, around Christmas, he'd let me make stuff and try to sell it, or he'd let me help him weld on old trucks or trailers. And I just started to really like it. And when I went to high school, it turned out that they made a welding vocational class. So I took that and got close with my instructor there, and he really pushed me to do better and be better at welding. And I saw KWI pop up when I was looking for future endeavors, and I just went for the interview, and I just liked it here.
Gotcha.
Decided it was the place for me. I had one buddy that went here, and decided it was what I liked and where I wanted to go.
Well, gotcha. And so, going through KWI, did you know about what the Triple Crown was, or was it a goal that you had in mind that you wanted to get the Triple Crown?
No, I had no idea what the Triple Crown was. It was
Okay.
just,
Well, and probably some of our viewers don't know what it is either, so we'll kind of explain that. So the first part of the Triple Crown is you have to get 7 or more certs. So how many certs did you end up getting here at KWI?
I think I left with 9.
9 certs. Okay, well, so he exceeded that by 2 extra certs. So once you get the 7 certs, you can get this Outlaw Leather Hood, and it's a unique one. You can only get it by being a Triple Crown winner. The next part of the Triple Crown is having perfect attendance. So was it hard having perfect attendance here at KWI?
Yeah, it was really hard because I was here between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And then they go, right up to the day before and day after.
Okay.
And it was really tempting to just take that extra day or just take an extra 2 days.
Wow.
Or whatever. But thankfully, I wasn't that far from home, so I just said, I'll be all right. I can make the drive back.
Okay, and I don't think we talked about it earlier. Where are you from exactly?
I'm from a small town called Whitesburg, Kentucky.
Whitesburg, Kentucky. All right. So 7 or more certs, perfect attendance, and then you get the heavy hitters TIG rig by being out on the road and having proof that you worked 30 days after graduating KWI. Yeah. So what was your experience when you left KWI as a welder? What jobs did you go on and, I guess go on for those 30 days?
Yeah. So I got really lucky. I had met someone and they gave me a number to call and just said, hey, they'll give you a test.
Really?
And just they'll let you prove it. They're not going to give you a job. They'll let you test in and see what happens. Huh. So I call the guy. He tells me, he goes, go up to Bell Fountain, Ohio, this company called Reliant Mechanical, test in with them, do whatever.
Okay.
And I knew going into it, because they had told me what my tests were, and I knew, there's no shot.
Right.
So I spent my last 2 or 3 days of school just hammering what I knew my test was going to be. And thankfully, I got lucky and I got the job, and it was a long-term job. So I was there for like 5 or 6 months.
Really?
So I got the chance to really...
Right out of school?
Yeah, really hone in my...
Perfect. Now, was that pipe, plate?
It was all pipe.
Wow.
It was mainly like 12, 14 inch.
And that is a perfect example of what you want to try to do after welding school. If you can land a solid pipe job right out of school that for several months that you're just banging out pipe, just weld, and that really helped you out because there's a lot of kids right out of school, they have trouble getting a solid pipe job. It might be a plate job, or it might be a structural job, or maybe like a pipe job, but they're not welding a whole lot. But that sounds like a really awesome opportunity.
I went into it knowing that I was good with the TIG, knowing that I could do it, but the stick I wasn't so sure about, but they honed me out real quick because I hadn't touched a TIG rig since I graduated.
Really?
That whole 6 months was stick.
Okay, so was it TIG root and hot and then stick fill and cap?
No, it was 60-10 root.
Really? So stick out all the way. And that's a lot of pipe too, so you're on the bottom for a good little bit.
Yeah, and they didn't give me anyone to brother-in-law with me either. So
you're doing it.
Just me.
So about how many joints a day were you getting, roughly?
On a good day, I could get like 1.5 before lunch, and then maybe finish out the half after lunch.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it was a lot of Schedule 80, a lot of just thicker pipe. And I'm a 332 kind of guy.
Really? What's the 60-10?
No,
or
just
70-18?
70-18, 332 kind of guy, so it would take me a little bit.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Well, everybody has their own preferences and what they like to use, so that's the great thing about welding. You don't have to stick to one way of doing things, you can really change it up.
Yeah.
So I guess going forward, what are your plans with the welding industry, and what's some advice you have for somebody who's looking to get into it?
I definitely plan on to keep going.
Okay.
It's something I found that I love to do.
Awesome.
I mean, in a way, it's rough not knowing where your next job is, but I do love it. It's been great for me. I've met a lot of people.
Right.
Had a lot of great experiences.
Well, sweet.
And to anyone, my biggest thing I regretted was I didn't network enough when I started.
Gotcha.
I got out there, and when that job ended, I was just sitting there scrambling my thumbs on my phone trying to find a job, because I didn't take that time to ask somebody, like, can I have your number if I ever need work, or can you maybe give me a heads up eventually? I didn't do that. I had maybe one or two guys, and they were already busy up on full jobs.
Gotcha. So that's probably one of the most important things in the welding industry is if you're a good welder, but you're not good at networking or anything, it's going to be hard to find work. You don't have to be the best welder to always stay busy. You just got to know how to be a good employee and network and just be a good person, and people will call you and you'll get numbers. So, well, that's really awesome.
Yeah, and thankfully with that company, I made a really good impression with them.
Okay.
My first 3 months, I didn't have a day off.
Really?
I worked 7 days a week for 3 months.
Well, so you just stacked a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And also, I guess you try not to skip out on attendance kind of helped out with that,
Yeah.
knowing just staying at it.
And after a while, you kind of get used to it. It's just waking up early, make sure you go to bed at the right time,
Right.
go get it done, do what you can, and they won't ever fire you for doing what you can.
Right. That's true. Just being a good employee, being a good welder, and just staying busy is the key to staying busy in the industry and making good money.
Yeah.
So Brian, while being on the road, what was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome with welding or just anything in being in the industry?
A lot of it was just being the youngest guy on the job.
Really?
Yeah, I got judged a lot for just how young I was. I'd go to test in, the QCs would be like, you sure you can do this? Are you sure you know how to do that? And it's just, yeah, I can, but you're not being willing. Or it's working, and the older guys, they kind of get jealous. And there's the young guy, let's pick on him or give him the bad jobs or do whatever, give him the spots that nobody else wants to get into.
Okay, so was you the youngest guy on the job?
Oh, yeah.
Really? So how old are you again?
I'm 19.
You're 19.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys are seasoned welders who are, anywhere from 35 to 55 years old, and so they see a 19-year-old kid, and they don't know that you went to the Kentucky Welding Institute and what kind of program it is with how hardcore and getting you up to date on welding. So I get where you're coming from too, because I experienced the same thing, but it's also really fun too, because they don't think you can do it, and then you go in there and show them, look, I can do this. I'm 19 and I can do it. But then on the flip side of it, you just always got to stay humble and not be like, cocky and, with that as well. So.
Yeah, the best feeling ever was whenever I finally earned their respect.
Really?
It was just one day they had me working pretty much double time, and I made like 5 or 6 welds, and they all thought that, they would all just bust on the x-ray, or they all passed, and after that day, it was kind of a pat on the back every day. Hey, how you doing?
Right.
It was
so
like
you were in the clique.
Yeah, that was like what christened me in, was being able to do that many welds and not bust.
All right. Well, sweet. Well, yeah, I feel like a lot of younger welders come out of high school, go to welding school, they get on the job and they experience that. So that's really awesome to hear that from you. Brian, do you have any crazy stories or something that happened to you that you'll never forget?
There's quite a few on that same job. We'll start off with something funny. I had never heard of this, and apparently it was just a way to mess with the new guys.
Okay.
And so they reached me a wad of like 10 or 15 70-18s and told me to put it behind my neck and see how strong I was.
Okay.
Well, little did I know when you bend them, all the flux would break off and go down your shirt.
Yeah.
So I had to work all day sweating, couldn't get the flux out from behind my back, rubbed me raw.
Yeah.
But then, probably one of the coolest things I've ever did is being like 50 feet up in a boiler, just welding and doing whatever, hanging from a basket, whatever. Because
Sweet.
That was, to me, looking back now, some of the things I hated the most in the moment, my favorite memories now. The memories that make me want to go back.
Right.
Is remembering how much I hated being up in that hot basket, no room, kicking the guy beside of me, and just bickering with him all day. But
Right.
Now I miss it that I'm not in there.
Yeah, usually the things you remember the most or enjoy the most are when you were struggling or a little bit miserable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of builds character and turns you in to something better than you already are.
Yeah.
So, and then also for you younger guys, watch out for those tricks that the older welders and people play on you. There's a couple of them, but we'll get to them in a couple other videos. But if someone tells you to bend 70-18 over your neck, don't do it because all the flux will go down your back.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Well, guys, that was Brian Collins with KWI on the Couch, and he is our most recent Triple Crown winner. Again, 7 certs, perfect attendance, and then you get the heavy hitter TIG rig by being on the road and working 30 days after graduating KWI. If you like this content, subscribe to our YouTube, check out our website for more information on how you can learn how to become a welder. We have a virtual tour on there as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.